Peace, folk, and welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought series right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why your black asses are here. Now, today, I wasn't going to do anything today far as videos are concerned, but I was looking at my boy stuff, brother SKC. I'm pretty sure you know who he is. And of course, he was showing something that was in my wheelhouse pertaining to these old mamas. So I decided to kind of do a follow-up on it. Now, if you've been watching me lately, the few of you that do, you've seen me bring you quite a few court cases that kind of stuck out to me, either because they were funny, ridiculous, or just totally absurd. But I'm going to bring you two stories that I've shown you before, and I want you to compare and contrast these two stories. Of course, this is one of the Ole Mama series, so we're going to be bringing you two old mamas. Like I said, we've seen these stories before, but I thought I would put them back up and juxtapose the two in one video and allow you folks to decide what is better. Who's the old mama and who is not? So, without further delay, let's get at it. And as always, Negroes, fair use. All right. So, we're going to start here. Now, I want you to pay attention to the top left-hand corner of this screen. Now, this fella here, right? Of course, he's in jail. He's been arrested, and he's being arraigned. And this is a quote-unquote bond hearing. We are in the courtroom of the Honorable Judge Jesse Law. Like I said, I have brought y'all this story before, but we're going to juxtapose it with another story that I brought you before as well. So let's get started. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Would be
Position number 4, courtroom 2.
position number 4, courtroom 2. Okay. We have Maurice Deshaun Brown, accused of criminal trespass and misdemeanor possession of marijuana from November 3rd, 2022, in case number 22 CR 007588G. Mr. Brown, you've been advised to be.
Now, in the lower left-hand corner, bottom row, is his mother. But we continue.
Right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim, we're going to first hear from pre-trial with regards to his priors, if any. Ms. Harrison?
First arrest was July of 2021 for hit and run, duty of driver to return to scene of accident, driving without a valid license, fleeing or attempting to elude in Gwinnett.
So the brother's been in trouble before, right? The brother's been in trouble before. He's got a few charges on his record, so he's no angel. But the stuff is relatively minor. He hasn't shot anybody, hasn't killed anybody, but he has been arrested before, so he's no stranger to trouble. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
No disposition listed on that arrest.
All right, thank you. Ms. King?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is requesting a $1,500 surety in this case. That's $1,000 for the criminal trespass and $500 for the marijuana charge, and a stay away from the incident location of 178 Maury Avenue, Southeast in Atlanta. The state is requesting a surety bond in this case due to the defendant and another unidentified male breaking a window and making entry into a vacant apartment at the Villages at Carver apartment complex. There's an independent witness that stated she saw the two young men do this act, and they were actually able to identify articles of clothing to the officer that the defendant was wearing.
So him and another guy, they broke into an apartment. They had weed on them when the police caught them. So him and his buddy broke in there, and I guess they was going to go in there and smoke some weed. I don't know, but we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
The marijuana was found search incident to arrest, Your Honor. The state is concerned due to him having an open case, which he's out on bond for, and committing another offense which violates that bond, which makes the surety bond more than reasonable.
Thank you. Ms. Kim, on the criminal trespass, the bond is going to be $3,000, and on the misdemeanor possession of marijuana is $500. That's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services with a parent co-signer.
Notice they said a parent co-signer. Why? Because he's a minor. You know he's 17 or younger. He needs a parent co-signer that lets you know this dude's a kid. But we continue.
Can you identify the parent who's going to sign his bond?
Yes, his father has the same name, Maurice Brown, without middle name. He will be the one who will sign.
All right, Ms. Harrison's taking note of that. It will be his father, Maurice Brown.
Now, his father is supposed to come, I guess, do the signing because he's a kid, to sign and get his son out of jail. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that they live together at the same premises?
No, his mother lives together. However,
and he has the worst public defender on earth in this lady here. But we continue.
She does not have a car, so his father has to drive and pick him up.
Can his father drive his mother?
I don't think so because of the time frame, but I will double check, Your Honor.
All right, I'll need his mother's name.
Sheena Greer, Sheena. Last name is...
I'm sorry, Ms. Kim, I'm going to have...
She's on the line, Judge.
Oh, mommy's on the line.
Yes, Your Honor. She's on the line.
And
Sheena Greer.
Oh, there she is. Sheena
Yes.
Greer. Okay. There we go. Okay.
Now notice, throughout all of this, you have not heard his mother blurt anything out. She hasn't said anything. She's sitting. She's calm. She's quiet. She's not saying anything. But we continue.
Ms. Harrison, amend the co-signer to Sheena Greer, please. All right. Ms. Greer, your son has received a $3,500 signature bond through pretrial services. Yes. I will need you to make arrangements with his father or whoever you choose to have you drive down to pretrial services and co-sign his bond. You will need to bring your driver's license or your identity card, any government issued document that identifies you as Sheena Greer.
Now, notice the judge is going through this whole spiel about how she needs to do this, she needs to do that, she needs to bring some ID. She needs to be able to make arrangements for her to come down and get her son. But we continue.
It must have your current address on that ID, and you need to bring some kind of utility bill for that location. I need proof with pretrial that Mr. Maurice Dashon Brown currently lives with you. Mr. Dashon Brown is subject to a 24-hour curfew. He is only allowed out of his home in order to attend school, to go to work, to seek medical treatment if required, if he wants to go to church, and to attend court proceedings or speak to his attorney.
Now, his mother is just sitting there listening to all of this. And like I told y'all before, when I did this one earlier on, she is going to eventually right this ship. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Those are the only exceptions in which he's allowed to step out of his home until further order of the court. If he steps out of a home for any other reason and he's arrested again, he will be back in jail and he will have to pay for his bond the next time.
His father.
Do we know the name of the co-accomplice?
I will look and see if we've gotten updated information. It will just take just a second.
All right.
That would be a no.
Ms. Greer, do you know the name of the individual with whom he was arrested?
No, but I do know that his father was already on the way down there.
Well,
notice his father. That's the key word here. Father. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Call him and let him know that it'll be a wasted trip. All right? All right. So, Ms. Harrison, once Mr. Maurice Brown shows up, please let him know that he's not eligible to co-sign the bond.
Now, the judge is going to have to backpedal everything she's just said over the past 2-3 minutes. She's going to have to backpedal all of this. But if you watch the one I did a while back, you already know that. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Yes, Judge.
It has to be done by someone with whom he lives so that he can be monitored in order to make sure that he doesn't get into trouble again.
But it'd be best if his daddy do it for the simple fact that he can go stay with his daddy because it's the same complex. It's the same apartments.
Now listen to what she's saying. His mother is saying it would be better for his father to come down there and get him so he can go and stay with his father because the same apartment complex she lives in is the apartment complex that he broke into. It's an apartment in the same complex. All right? Now listen to what she's saying. She's thinking about what's best for him. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Don't know that, Ms. Greer. All right, thank you. It's your son, Ms. Greer. Make sure you make the effort to have him released. If you want him to stay in jail.
Notice Mom shaking her head like, okay, whatever.
That the decision is entirely up to you. All right, thank you.
Okay.
His next court date.
She's like, okay. In other words, okay, that y'all want to keep him in jail. It's okay that he can go and stay with his old man. It's okay that his old man cannot come and sign him out on bond. Mom is calm. Watch his mother. Watch his mother. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
It will be sent to his current address. And I do apologize. I just lost that screen.
Your Honor, was Ms. Greer stating that the incident location is the same complex that she lives in and that the defendant will be living in?
Yes, that's exactly what she's saying. I know it's hard to understand, through her geechiness. I know it is. It's hard to understand geech. I get it. But that is what Mom is saying. But we continue.
That is what she's saying, Your Honor.
That's why he needs to go back to with his father.
Okay.
Where does his father live?
His father stays off of Kellner Road. It's not in these apartments. I stay in apartments where the incident happened at.
See? Mom is like, look, I stay in the same apartment complex. Yeah, I know y'all need me to translate this geech for y'all. Luckily for y'all, I was raised by people who spoke like this. So I'm fluent in Geech. But what mom is saying is that the same apartment complex where he broke into with weed in his pocket, she lives in the same apartment complex. So why would you want him to be bonded out here? That doesn't make any sense, is what she's saying. She's riding this ship. She's riding the ship for the judge, for the solicitor general, and of course, his public defender, who he doesn't even need because she's, for the most part, useless. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
It is no need for him to be out here. He need to go over there with his father.
Notice she's saying, look, he needs to go over there with his old man. There's no need for him to come back here. Now, when I hear this, I hear a mother who really cares about this boy, because that's what he is. He's a boy, obviously, because he can't even get out of jail without a parent signing for him. So this boy is like 17, 16, something like that. He's a teenager. He's a kid. And what she is saying is that why would you let him come back here when this is the same area where he got in trouble? This is a mother who really cares about this boy, because she's doing and speaking on what she believes is best for him, not for her. And I respect this. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
My goodness, we did not know that.
Because that address 173, my address is 193 Maury Avenue.
Well, we didn't know that was the same apartment complex, so that's good information to know.
And I say, just like I said before, how come the public defender didn't know this? How come? I'll tell you how come. Because she's useless. I guess that's why she works for the public defender's office. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
So 193 Maury Avenue is...
My apartment.
193 is an apartment number or a building number?
It's the building number. 193 Maury Avenue. My apartment is 14.
I see. And 178 Maureen Avenue is in the same apartment complex?
Yes, ma'am. It's
All
the
right.
building.
I do apologize. I did not realize that. So, yeah, I guess we, but if he has to stay away from the entire Carver Village apartments, that means he cannot come back and stay with you.
Exactly, Your Honor. Exactly. That's what she's been trying to tell you. But we continue.
My goodness, Mr. Brown has really worked himself into a pickle.
Well, luckily for Mr. Brown, he has a mother and a father who actually gives a damn about him. Hopefully, he wises up and realizes that. But we continue.
If he's
And does he go to school in that area?
No, he catches the bus. He goes to Phoenix Academy because he's trying to catch up on his credit so he can graduate this year because he's in 12th grade.
And where is that school from his home?
Phoenix Academy, that's on Memorial Drive, so he catches them all the bus anyway.
All right. And where does father live, Mr. Brown?
Kendall Road.
And how far is that from his school?
They're both about the same distance. I say Kendall Road to Memorial.
All right.
To get to his father's house, it'll probably be like 10 minutes. Just like if you was in a car to get to my house, it'll be like 10 minutes.
Oh, I know I got to translate that Geach for y'all. She said that, the distance from, her house to the school and from his old man's house to the school is pretty much the same distance. But we continue.
All right.
The school provides him a MARTA card.
And Miss Greer, does Mr. Brown realize that his son will have to stay with him?
Yes.
He does?
Yes.
Okay, in that effect, then we'll amend the cosigner.
Of course, you will amend the cosigner. Mom was right. And I know that's hard for y'all to fathom, me saying that. But I'm with Mom on this one. All right? Now, the reason why I say that is because Mom had the wherewithal to know that there's no reason for him to return to the same area where he got in trouble. And this is her son. She's doing what's best for him, not what's best for her. Do y'all understand what I'm getting at, folk? This is why I brought this back up. She's doing what's best for that boy. And she says his father knows he's going to be living with him. Because obviously his father gives a damn about him, because she said his father's already on the way to get this boy. And he's not privy to none of this that's going on before us. He's already on his way to get his son. So he has a mother and a father who cares about him. I say again, hopefully this young fella straightens out and realize how fortunate he is. Mom is calm. Mom is like, hey, this dude's screwing up. He done already been locked up before. Now he done got locked up again for breaking into an apartment. Got weed in his pocket. He need to go live with his father. She loves this boy. She loves him enough to let him go. She's owned her failure with this boy. And she's willing to let him go stay with his father, just to make sure he's out of the area where his black ass got arrested. But I'm about to bring y'all another case. I'm going to bring y'all another case. And I want y'all to watch what happens in this next case. So, let's get at it. All right. Here we go. Now I want you to pay attention to the second row, left-hand corner. The brother in the red. Once again, he's in the same courtroom, same judge, the Honorable Jesse Law. And this brother's here on some charges too. Now with this case, it's another case with a son and his mother. This one's a little different, and y'all are gonna see how. And those of you who have seen this already, no spoilers in the chat. But let's get at it, and fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Corian Irby is accused of battery domestic violence from October 19, 2022. His attorney is Miss Wanda Gant.
Now you heard his charges. Battery, domestic violence. But we continue.
And Mr. Tucson, any priors? Tucson Howard?
The arrest. Last arrest was in May on unlawful carry of a weapon and shoplifting in Cobb County.
Okay, so he's been charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon, shoplifting. But we continue.
Anything else?
Well, that was 2019 felony theft by taking. They reduced it to a misdemeanor because he got 12 months probation for that.
Okay.
Miss Sowry, I'm sorry.
So the brother has somewhat of a record, felony theft. They reduced it to a misdemeanor. He was caught shoplifting and carrying a weapon. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Sorry.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at 2591 Etheridge, that's Etheridge Drive in Atlanta. Officers responded and spoke with the victim, whose name is Tamisha, that's Tomesha, last name Jackson. She's the mother of the defendant, and I do believe she's on the Zoom call. She stated that when she came home from work, she saw the defendant in his room sweating and lying on the floor. And despite the victim asking the defendant what was wrong with him, he wouldn't answer. And he got upset with her and began to argue, and then he eventually bit the victim on her finger.
Now, he living in mama house, right? He living in mama house. Mama come in his room, asking what the hell's going on. He's silent, then he jumps up and bites her hand. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond with conditions of no contact with the victim, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, MHET, and nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Corian Irby is 20 years old. He has been in the...
Now, he's 20 years old. He's not a kid. He's a grown man. But we continue.
Atlanta, Georgia area for 15 years. He has cousins and his mother here, who is the complaining witness, Mrs. Tamisha Jackson. Mr. Irby obtained a diploma in high school. He is currently employed at UPS. He states that he started this job about 2 weeks ago. Therefore, he is still on probation. And of course, if he misses work, he certainly will be at risk of losing his job.
Now, he wasn't thinking about that before he bit old mama's hand. But we continue.
He denies the allegations, Your Honor. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Irby's behalf. We heard a little bit about his history. However, I did not hear about any convictions for violence. If Your Honor determines that he's ineligible for a signature bond, then I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,000. We are opposed to any no contact provisions, and that would include a stay away, Your Honor, as Mr. Irby does live at the incident location.
Now listen to what the public defender is saying. Because the Solicitor General wants him to not be able to return there because that's where the incident happened, which is standard in these court cases. But his public defender is saying, we are against that, Your Honor, because that's where he lives. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
With his mother, I've had the occasion to speak with Ms. Jackson. She states that she wants contact, as does my client, and further, for reasons stated, we are opposed to the MHET. Thank you, Your Honor.
So he's got an open felony case, and as far as I can tell, that's not been resolved yet. Theft by taking from May 2019. Mr. Tucson, do you know whether there's been a resolution in that case?
What case, Judge? The open case?
Yeah, he had a $10,000 signature bond for pretrial.
Now, he's already on $10,000 bond, right? A signature bond that he already had before this. But we continue.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. Let me look it up. Out here.
There was a bond signed by Judge Frazier back in May 21st, 2019. And parental cosigner was required.
All right, I'm looking
now. Mama had signed for him 2019, 3 years ago. 3 years ago, he was 17. So she was able to get his ass out of there. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use. You know where I'm going here, folk.
While we're waiting on that, Miss Jackson, which one's Miss Jackson?
This is me.
All right, Miss Jackson, all right. And Miss Jackson, if you'd like to say something, I'd like to place you on the oath first. Would that be okay?
Okay.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. This is not an ideal situation where the victim is also the person with whom he lives. Can you comment on that?
Yes. That I am his mom. So, I mean, it's, mom, son, a little altercation. I called the police because for them to just, have him leave for a while,
Now listen to what she's saying. She said she called the police to have him leave for a while, right? Which makes no sense to me, because when you call the police, there's a pretty good chance that someone's going to get arrested, especially if they come there and he done damn near bit your finger off. But besides that, these women are always calling the police and then turn around and say, hey, I didn't want this person to be locked up. Hey, I didn't want this person to go to jail. Because, see, what they really are looking for is intervention. They're looking for social work. They're looking for psychological work. That's what they're looking for. It's like they don't understand that the police are law enforcement. They're not psychologists. They are not social workers. They are not crime intervention specialists. They are law enforcement. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
But other than him going to jail and all that, that's not what I was going for at all.
You called the police.
Exactly, Your Honor. I'm with the judge on this one. But you called the police. But we continue.
Yes, but not for him to go to jail.
Yes, she called the police, but she had no intention of him going to jail. She wanted them to come there and, do what that Negro who sired him with her couldn't do. Come in there and be his daddy. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
I want him to go to jail, just to calm everything down. I needed them to calm everything down. But not for him to go to jail. That's my son. I don't want to see him being in trouble. Like, we working together.
Okay, hold on. I got to play the violins for this one, y'all. I'm sorry. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Try to keep him, in the good place. We worked hard, got his high school diploma. We working hard to get him a job. I'm working hard to get him to get his CDLs with me. So I want to work with my son to make him a better person, not for him to be a criminal.
Well, let's see what's going on. I see.
Now, you notice how she's interjecting herself into this. Unlike the other case, Mom never interjected herself into it. What she talked about was what was best for him, not about her at all. And her son is a teenager, a kid. This dude is a grown-ass man. A grown-ass man who assaulted her, by the way. It got to the point where she called the police. Well, she says she called them just for them to, I guess, do some intervention, but they locked his ass up because her finger was probably halfway hanging off. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
There was an open felony case from 2019. So,
Your Honor, that's actually a guilty conviction. I have the case number.
Please.
19 SC 168016.
So he's a convicted felon now.
Judge, that case was reduced to a misdemeanor.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, he has an open case in Cobb County from May.
From Cobb County?
Yes.
And what's that case?
Unlawful carry of a weapon
And he has an open case going on right now.
shoplifting.
Correct.
Yeah.
You see, Mom ain't showing that hand that he bit. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
19 SC.
Now the judge is contemplating what she's going to do about this Negro. Because it's this judge's thing. You get into a scrap with somebody in the family, somebody got to leave. Now she's also the judge that made a brother leave his own house,
Final disposition.
which I brought y'all the other day. The judge is confused. She doesn't know what's going on.
So he pled guilty to a 12 misdemeanor theft by taking, and he was on 12 months probation. This was on June 13, 2019. Okay. Anything else, Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Okay, let me get the violins back out.
I really regret that we are even going through this. It's like steps backwards, him just getting a job. And
Notice she says, we are going through this. She regrets that we are going through this, but we continue.
trying to do better. He's not no bad kid at all. Like this never happened. It's just, he just went a little too far where I had to be like, okay, call somebody so it don't get too far.
All right. Like I told y'all when I did this before, what she just said did not make any sense. She said it went too far, so she had to call to make sure it didn't go too far. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
You know what I mean? So, but I definitely do not want to see him in this situation at all. I'm very heartbroken by it. I've been struggling by just having to deal with him even being in there. I love my son. He my only one. I don't have any more kids, so it's like I don't want this for him at all. Like I really regret it.
Notice she's not talking about him. It's not about him. Like X always tell you Negroes when it comes to these old mamas. It's about her. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
And I pray that, you be very lenient on him. And so me and him, we can work together and get everything back in order how it should be.
Me and him can work together to get it back in order, Your Honor. Notice she continues to interject herself in this. But we continue.
Bond is going to be set at $2,500. It's a surety bond. He's to have no further contact with Miss Jackson. Stay away from the Etheridge Drive location. His next court date is November 3rd. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. And if he does make bond, he's not to return to the Etheridge Drive location. He can return there one time only to retrieve his personal belongings. That visit must be in the company of a police officer.
And there it is. The judge is like, hey, he get out. He can't bring his ass back there. Even with mom's pleas and cries and trying to justify the foolishness that he did and justify her calling the police. The judge is like, no, you shall not return there, Negro. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
You have 30 days to then let us know of your new address so we can send you your notice for your next court date. Thank
So
you.
he don't have nowhere else to go, like, but here with me at home.
Miss Jackson, this is called growing up for him. Thank you.
I'm with the judge. This is called growing up for his black ass. Now she's in there pleading his case for him to come back home, even though she is the person he attacked. That's why I told y'all I wanted y'all to see me juxtapose these two cases. Notice the first clip I showed you, good folk. Mom was not pleading his case. Mom was like, no, let him go stay with his old man. She wasn't trying to convince the judge to let him come back and stay with her, because she was thinking about what was best for the boy, not herself. Unlike this old mama here, she talked about herself continuously. Me and my son, we need to get it together. I want him to come back home so we can get it right, so we can do things that we supposed to do, so we can get back on track. It's about her. It's not about him. The other mother did not do that. And her son is a minor. This woman is doing this. And her son is a grown ass man. And she wonders why he back and forth getting locked up. Open cases, gun charges. Of course he has nowhere else to go. He's been coddled by this woman. And guess what? He will continue to be coddled by this woman, even after he attacks her. Do y'all see the difference? But the judge is not moved. The judge says, look, your old mama, you. This is growing up for him. But she left something out. It's also growing up for her. Something she may not understand right now. But guess what? Something tells me she's gonna let this boy back in there. And he's going to go back. He's going to go back. Why wouldn't he? He know the door is open. She is part of the problem. And she doesn't realize it. This Negro did this nonsense. She shouldn't want him back there. But she does. Now let's go back to the first case. Do you think this mother would put up with this? Do you think this mother would want him to come back? Of course not. Absolutely not. Hell no. Do you think that the other mother would do this? Do you think that the other mother would put up with this? No. Because she's concerned with the boy's benefit, not her own. This mama here, she's thinking about herself. It's not that she don't want him out on the street. No. She wants him back there. Because just as much as he needs to be there, she needs him there. Even though he attacks her. But that's all. I appreciate y'all coming through, man, as always, because you could have spent your time anywhere. You decided to spend it here with me on T.P.O.T, and it is appreciated. I don't take you good folk lightly, man. I never have and I never will. You got my word on that. So, with that, I will leave you good folk with 3 words, you know, like I always do. Open your mind. Peace, folk.
These old mamas.
Only from T.P.O.T.